Okay, this is 1.4 part 1. This stuff is still pretty easy. It's review. The harder stuff, obviously, is going to be the fractions, because how are you guys at fractions? Nah, you suck. Hey, you're welcome. See how much of a supportive teacher I am. All right, number 1. You guys will learn to love me. I want to I have variables on one side. I want to isolate the variable. So I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides. Oh, yeah, 4 equal 20. And then I'm going to divide by the coefficient 4. And I have x equal 5. Easy peasy, right? What's the easiest way to get rid of fractional coefficients? Skip it. Well, you're dividing by 5/2, right? Which is the same thing as skipping it. You would not, your first quiz, I guarantee it. First quiz, there's a problem like this on there. Half of you will skip it. No. I'll give you a brownie. All right. So you have to divide. So you. Come on, we got to get through this sheet. Stop making me laugh. We have to divide by 5/2, which is the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal. Okay, when you multiply by the reciprocal, everything turns to 1. 1 times x is just x, right? Right. Yeah, you multiply by 2 and divide by 5. That's what 2/5 is. Multiply by 2, divide by 5. Such language. Virgin ears are bleeding down. What is 20? What is 20 times 2/5? Now, there's several ways of doing this, but the way I want you guys to get used to, because when we get to rational expressions, I want you to simplify first. There are 4 5s and 20, and 1 5 and 5. So 4 times 2 is well, you don't. I mean, you could take 20. I mean, you could even do this in your head. 20 times 2 is 40. 40 divided by 5 is 8. Okay. But I can't even understand you. That's what we did. Okay, so when we get into rational expression, you get language again. We're going to have these quadratic expressions, and you have to, factor them, and then you're going to have to cancel out, because you're not going to want to multiply quadratic expressions with each other and then simplify. Okay, that's why I want you to kind of just know, at least be aware of this way. Okay. All right, number 3. Variable on both sides. This is where you have to keep variables on one side, numbers on the other. I'm going to subtract 3a first. Now, for those of you who are like to do 2 steps at once, if I'm subtracting 3a from this side, that means I have to get my numbers over here. I can add 8 at the same time. If this is confusing to you, please separate it into 2 steps. These add up to 0. 13 plus 8 is 21. 9a subtract 3a is 6a. These add up to 0. Okay. Divide both sides by the coefficient 6. And 21 6 equals x. Can it be reduced? Try your math enter trick. Yeah, use 3. So I have 7 halves equals x. Oh, I don't care. Fraction. Yeah. Except for application problem. All right. Did I go too fast? Skip too many steps? Are we good? But one thing you can't do is leave it as 21 6. Did I put the stuff? Did you get your stuff? There was a backpack on that back table. Okay, what color was it? Pink, right? I swear I put it there on that back table, a pink backpack. So we got to distribute. 4 times negative 3x. That's right, negative 12x. 4 times 1. That's right, positive 4. Equals negative 10 times positive x. Good. Negative 10 times negative 4. And then bring down the minus 14x. I have terms to combine on the same side of the equal sign. Negative 10x and negative 14x. Bring down everything else. Do you guys mind if I do 2 steps at once? I'm going to add 24x to both sides. Okay, so I'm going to add 24x. And so that's going to bring my x's to the side. That means I have to get my numbers over here. So I have to subtract 4, subtract 4. Oops. So I get 12x equals, oh wait, yeah, 12x equals 36. Divide both sides by the coefficient 12. And you get 3. Did I skip too many steps or do them together with too fast? A-okay? All right, the fun stuff, fractions. And being the supportive teacher that I am, I'm just going to tell you right away that you suck at them. All right, how do I add and subtract fractions? No, we can't do butterfly because this is not a ratio and a ratio. We have 2 terms equals a ratio. We have to find the lowest common denominator. Actually, you can just use a common denominator, and the way you do that is multiply all the denominators together. However, you're going to be just dealing with big numbers. That's all. Yes, the lowest common denominator here is going to be 12, right? The x is over 1. So it has to be at least 12 because 12 has to divide into something. And it just so happens that 6 can divide into 12. So my lowest common denominator is 12. Now the whole idea in this course to multiply by the LCD is to get rid of fractions. You will get whole numbers. If you don't, you did something wrong. Now, I'm going to multiply the entire equation by the LCD, which is 12. So 12 times x is 12x over 1, or just 12x. 5, 6 times 12 over 1. 5, 6. I would use your calculators. Remember what I said, that you guys are terrific at fractions, right? Times 12 over 1. I know. 10. Okay. 6 goes into 12 twice. 5 times 2 is 10. Or 5 times 12 is 60, divided by 6 is 10. Okay, that's probably the way that you guys are used to. Got it? So minus 10. And what's 2 twelfths times 12? 2. Now solve for x. Add 12 to both sides. I'm sorry, add 10 to both sides. $12x equals 12, divided by the coefficient 12. So x equals. What about number 6? Yes, sir. Yes. No.
No.
There are several ways to do it, but again, we want you to at least be familiar with the way we're or future concepts when things get difficult, you know how to do it. Okay. Personally, I don't have a problem with fractions. Okay. I could add 10 12s, we get 12 over 12, and that's 1. Just by looking at it. So, or you could use a calculator. You know, take your 2 12s, add 5 6, and you'll get 1. All right, number 6. What's my lowest common denominator? 4, 5, 10, 16, 4, 20. Okay. Can hear you. You'll learn that I'm deaf on both ears. Yeah, I got hearing loss. I actually got a hearing aid at home. I should. Huh? What? All right. You could get a common denominator by multiplying 4 times 5 is 20, times 2 is 40. Okay, that's a common denominator. Or you could use 160. It doesn't matter. It's just you'll end up with the same answer, but you just have large numbers. Ethan? Ethan? So I'm going to multiply the entire equation by 20. Okay? Again, the whole idea here is to get rid of fractions. Now, you could do this different ways. I'm going to do it my way. If you figure out another way, that's fine with me. 20. I'm going to cancel, you know, there's 5 4s in 20. In other words, 20 divided by 4 is 5 times 3, 15. Don't forget your x. 20 divided by 5, 4. 4 times 3, 12, no x. 20 divided by 2, 10. 10 times 5 is 50. Don't forget the x. 20 divided by 4 is 5 times 1. How you doing? All right, I'm going to get my x's on one side, numbers on the other. So I'm going to subtract 15x. That brings my x's over here. So I need to bring this number over there. So I'm going to subtract 5. All in one step. Okay, I get negative 12, so that gets rid of these numbers. So I get negative 12 minus 5, negative 17, 50x minus 15x, 35x. Divide both sides by the coefficient, 35, and I believe negative 17/35 is reduced. Man. All right, number 8. What? I can't hear you. Huh? I can't. You're not in the. Okay, here's some parentheses. Oh, we're gonna do number 7. Okay. Now this one, Ethan, I'll give you. You can do this a lot of different ways because you're multiplying. Before. I mean, if I were to do this, instead of finding a common denominator right now, in fact, you can't because you have to get rid of the parentheses, right? So, but there really is only one way of doing this. So again, think of this 3/4 as a coefficient, okay? And this whole thing a variable. How do I get rid of a fractional coefficient? Multiply by the reciprocal, right? So we're going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal 4/3, right? Okay. So the 4's cancel, the 3's cancel, only leaves me with the parentheses, right? With me? Yes. Anybody not seeing what I'm doing here? These cancel out to 1. 1 times this parenthesis is just the parentheses. 4/5 x minus 2. What's on the right-hand side? 4's cancel the 1, right? 11 times 1 is 11 thirds. With me? Okay, now you could do a couple of different things, or we could find the lowest common denominator now. That's what we're supposed to do because we're trying to get you to learn this concept of lowest common denominator. What is my lowest common denominator? 15. So I'm going to multiply the entire equation by 15. Okay? 15 divided by 5 is 3 times 4, 12x. Get the x. This is just two whole numbers being multiplied together. 15 times 2 is 30. Okay, don't forget to multiply this. A lot of students forget to multiply the other side by 15 too. So 15 divided by 3 is 5 times 11. I have x's on one side, so I need to get rid of that 30. Add 30 to both sides. So I get 12x equals 85. Divide both sides by the coefficient 12. And I believe that this cannot be reduced. Are you good? Are you good? Questions, comments, concerns? On number 6, it's going to have to be a multiplication. When you're dealing with the worst hardest problems, math problems you guys probably learned growing up was adding and subtracting fractions. It's one of the most difficult concepts to grasp as a youngster. All right, number 8, I have a ratio because I put a quantity parentheses around the bottom because they're quantities. I have a ratio equal a ratio. I can just cross multiply. I get 4 times x minus 3 equals 6 times x plus 2. Okay. Distribute 4x, 4 times negative 3, negative 12, 6 times x, 6x, 6 times positive 2, 12. Got it? All right, I'm going to do my 2 things at once. So I'm going to bring my x's to the right-hand side. So that gets rid of those x's, but then I'm going to have to bring the number on the other side. So I'm going to subtract 12, subtract 12. So I get negative 24 equals 2x. And divide both sides by the coefficient 2. I get negative 2 equals x. And I think this will be the next one. That's what I said, negative 12. I don't know what you guys are like. Why you give me the wrong answers all the time? All right, last one I'm doing. Number 9. I do not, repeat, do not have a proportion here. Why not? I think what you're trying to say is because I don't have a ratio equaling a ratio. I have a fraction. I have 2 terms here equaling a ratio. So I'm gonna make this a proportion first, so I can cross multiply. So I'm actually gonna undo the plus 4. I'm gonna subtract 4. That gives me a ratio on the left-hand side, negative 2x plus 10. By the way, Ted, there's different ways you can do this, and I'm not going to show you. Equals 9. 13 minus 4 is 9. Now I have a ratio equaling a ratio. Cross multiply. Okay, this quantity times 1 is just going to be that quantity. And then negative 5 times 9, negative 45. I'm going to bring my numbers to the right-hand side, so I'm just going to subtract 10. The x's are already over there. Negative 2x equals negative 55. So x equals what? Questions, comments, concerns? We didn't get to the back. So on your book assignment thingy, if you run into word problems, you don't have to do them. We'll finish up. Isn't it 11:03? Yeah.
only have 3 clear classes.